Our story begins in late September 2018. Anthony sets off on a fundraising frenzy, popping up all over the place to make increasingly absurd claims about the apparent global reach of a university dissertation. This pays off for Anthony, as the internet's most gullible line up to stuff their hard-earned cash down the drain that is Anthony's crappy idea.
But I'm pretty sure that things that start trending will start to gain momentum. I'm talking with Roxanne, obviously, because of the success of the Global Eye Tour. The result of my GoFundMe overlaps with the result of another group's GoFundMe, which was to do with the tour. Roxanne, the globalist denier, and her troops. And Roxanne and Harry and Robin and all the people on her side, they got the benefit of a GoFundMe as well. You can give it a theatrical appearance to it, and it's more entertainment. So there might have to be a hardware like purchase of like speakers, microphones, that kind of stuff. This is the FE Core chat. There's 42 people. We are the players in Flat Earth. Mm-hmm. All the big people are in here, right? This is going to create even more controversy, but this is good for FE Core. This is good for us. We will make ourselves massive targets for so much troll abuse.
Anthony was saying the Bluetooth mic and it looking all professional. And then Jason started talking about hiring equipment until we work out what equipment we need.
And I think if we've got that headset, that makes us look trick modern-wise. And I think that resonates with kids if we look good. Well, the thing is, this will go national. If we talked about the press last night, and I said that we should probably black them out in the short term. We won't need the press for it to go national. It will go national by virtue of the kids and Facebook and Twitter. We have to get funding for the equipment to make it look good. Yeah. Schools may actually pay to get you there before other schools. I guess ultimately that we're kind of like pioneering the next stage of activism with a commercial aspect to it, where you actually charge for it.
I think it's fair to say we're going to bully our way into the education centre.
A way for us to infiltrate.
Notice that this idea not only requires funding, but Anthony thinks schools are actually going to pay to see this presentation.
But the magnitude of this is potentially huge. Basically, it's the perfect storm.
Anthony is arguing that an opposing view should be taught. The problem is, he has no opposing view to offer. He complains that what is taught doesn't comport with Quantum Eraser's distorted view of the scientific method, and yet he has nothing supporting his worldview that comports with any method at all. Anthony doesn't even have a coherent idea. Reality of how changes in the national curriculum actually occur, as a result of careful consideration at the end of a lengthy and detailed evidence-gathering process, not because some chancer on YouTube fancies himself as a bit of a lawyer.
Ultimately, it's going to cost quite a substantial amount of money. That's something else I'll come on to later. We will be putting our hand out and going to the audience and saying this needs funding.
I want to criticise the people that are in the education system on facts that we can prove are at least debatable. It will be the case that there's a credible argument for whether or not we're being told the truth. So I wrote to the government and I said, look, this is what the law says. This is what you're doing. It breaches the law because... And if we take this matter to a judge and you guys have got to present your evidence on a table to the judge and satisfy the judge that you can prove things like the distance to the sun, that you can prove things like gravity. We know that they can't prove orbits. We know that they can't prove the center of the earth being a molten iron core. We know that they can't prove curvature. They can't prove axial rotation. All of these things are on the table for a judge to decide whether in law or not it's enough evidence to prove the point that they're making. FE Core are funding this, and they've said, push it as far as you can, get yourself the best quality solicitor and barrister that you can get. I'm currently sourcing one at Magic Circle, hopefully Linklaters or Clifford Chance or whatever. If they can't prove their claim, then that makes the application for the mandatory injunction pretty easy, because we don't in theory have to present any evidence. We know that they can't prove any of their stuff, and in theory we should be able to get a judgment in our hands that says that the national curriculum is illegal because they're not presenting the balanced representation of opposing views. And if that is the case, that will rewrite science.
Anthony thinks that all he has to do is send a letter to the education department, and this will force them to have to appear in court, and he will be handed a judgment which will rewrite science overnight. Of course, like everything in Flat Earth these days, e-begging is required. So it seems Anthony decided he was going to raise money through GoFundMe donations before he had decided what worthy need these donations were for.
I have a rare opportunity to get a legal, peer-reviewed, pro-Flat Earth dissertation into the education system at the highest of levels, and although it won't be blatantly the Earth is flat, It will be critically challenging the national curriculum with regards to how reliable and credible the tuition the children of today are actually being taught. Once national press get wind of it, that it's gone through the other side, it will generate discussion. Because it's so contentious, it's got legs to go potentially around the world. Well, I would be seriously credible in academia, wouldn't I? Because I would be credited in law, and it'll be critically acclaimed. It's blowing the whistle, isn't it? It'll be seen as whistleblowing. They'll not want that to be going out there. You know, like Julian Assange might end up living in Russia or something like that.